Campus protests around the country growing this Friday night. The pro-Palestinian message is the same, but the groups are protesting in different ways, from marches to tent cities to rallies, and universities are reacting differently, some letting the students be, others moving in with armed officers. And one major university, USC, canceling commencement ceremonies because of the protests. Good evening. I'm Greg Lee.
And I'm Christina Rendon. This is the second graduation the class of 2024 will miss. COVID canceled many of these students' high school ceremonies. In California, large tent cities have popped up. At Cal Poly Humboldt, students were given a deadline this afternoon to pack up and go, and the Humboldt campus is now closed for the remainder of the year. At UC Berkeley, students have been camped out for a week now with little interference from the university or law enforcement. And a similar scene at Stanford. Protesters there heading into the second night of a tent city in the middle of campus. Universities trying to balance freedom of speech rights while keeping campuses safe. KTVU's Mark Sayer is live at Stanford tonight and shows us the fine line universities are walking. Mark.
Some of the conversation we've seen at USC and Los Angeles, what's been here at Stanford has been fairly calm, peaceful, out of the way. We are at Memorial Plaza. This is right next to the Stanford bookstore in the middle of campus, where students first set up these tents after their big rally on Thursday night. On Friday afternoon, students were mostly keeping to themselves in a cordoned-off area of the plaza. There were no bullhorns nor speeches. It was just food, music, and camaraderie. Organizers say the goal of this protest is very focused. Protesters want Stanford to first disclose its investments related to any corporations profiting from the conflict in Gaza, and then to divest.
The ceasefire call is definitely a part of it, right? But I think we understand that within our very local context of being Stanford University students, we can probably leverage the most effort towards making a ceasefire happen by building on this huge pile of pressure, right? Of which divestment and that kind of company pressure is a very clear part of that picture.
On Friday, Stanford released this statement. While Stanford understands students' perspectives on an important global issue, violations of university policy will not be overlooked. The submission of student names to the Office of Community Standards student conduct process has begun. The university also sent a message to the full community saying that the overnight tents are a safety and security issue and they are a clear violation of university policy. At USC in Los Angeles, campus leaders have taken a different approach and called in the police to break up protests. And now administrators have announced that university-wide graduation ceremonies have been canceled.
I was disheartened. Obviously, it has been a possibility for a few weeks, given USC's decision to pull our valedictorian speech. We've known that it might happen for a few weeks, as there's definitely some turmoil on campus.
Mira Poplai is a USC senior who is from Pleasanton. While she is holding out hope some sort of smaller degree-level ceremonies will still occur, USC's decision means she could miss her second graduation ceremony.
I was crestfallen because this is a culmination of the 4 years at USC. We've worked so hard for this, and for 4 years this has been our shot at redemption. We're finally going to get to walk, because none of us got to walk in 2020 when we graduated during COVID.
And to not have the final moment of the moment in sun for the kids, I feel terrible for them.
And back to a live picture here at Stanford now. Students are not saying definitively if they plan to keep their tents up for a second night, which would be a violation of university policies. We have seen campus public safety officers watching over this protest from a distance. So far, there has been no interaction between those public safety officers and the protesters here. There are about 16 or 18 tents here in White Plaza behind me. What happens later tonight remains to be seen. Reporting live on the Stanford campus, I'm Mark Sayer, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
We'll
Christina?
keep following it. Mark, thank you for that report.